Are you really planning to hand over all your money to someone you don't even know and their family? Caleb remained silent. His hand quivered, yet his gaze held firm. The bank teller gazed intently at the check. That sum was all that mattered. A derisive chuckle resonated from the shadows. Seems like he believes he's a hero of sorts. Caleb pivoted and strode off into the distance. As the first light of dawn emerged, 11 black SUVs stood quietly in his driveway. A uniformed figure stepped out from each vehicle and stood at attention. Type 1 if you think genuine kindness is always noticeable. Greetings and salutations to QH. Let's delve into the truth of what transpired. Caleb Dawson, 67, resided in solitude on his family's weathered ranch in the parched outskirts of Garrison County, Texas. A veteran of the Gulf War, he dedicated years to cultivating the land his grandfather acquired in 1923. The passage of time had taken its toll on both the estate and its proprietor. 5 years have slipped by since his wife Helen succumbed to cancer. Their sole offspring resided in Seattle, engrossed in his corporate pursuits, managing to visit only once a year. The barn roof hung perilously low. The fence line required a fresh installation. With each passing season, fresh challenges emerged that his weary body found increasingly difficult to confront. Caleb managed to get by with his dwindling herd of cattle, now reduced to only 6, along with the vegetables he cultivated in the side yard. His Social Security barely stretched to cover property taxes, and the drought had significantly increased his water expenses. Yet he persevered, subsisting on modest meals and repairing what he could with his own skills. On a Tuesday morning, as he sipped his solitary cup of coffee while perusing the local newspaper, a brief article piqued his interest. Recently deceased, veteran Staff Sergeant Jeff Monroe faced eviction from their modest home after depleting their savings on funeral expenses. She was given a mere 30 days by the bank to leave with her 2 children. The name hit Caleb with the force of a punch. Jeff Monroe. They had shared a short time together in Fallujah, various units. Yet Caleb recalled the young sergeant who had assisted in the evacuation of the wounded during a notably fierce firefight. They had never found their way back to each other after deployment, yet certain names lingered in your mind. That afternoon, Caleb navigated his 2-decade-old pickup to the local national bank. He took out all his savings, totaling $18,742.33, and requested the teller to issue a cashier's check to Alicia Monroe. "Sir," the teller paused, "this is your complete balance. Are you completely sure?" Caleb gave a single nod. "I exist." Behind him, a local rancher named Dwayne Mercer, whose attempts to purchase Caleb's land had been met with consistent refusal, let out a loud snort. "Observe Dawson stepping into the role of the hero," he remarked to his companion. "A man struggles to maintain his own fences, yet he distributes money as if he were a Rockefeller." Caleb brushed off the remark, deftly tucking the receipt away while the teller completed his transaction. Later that evening, his neighbor Frank came over, worried after hearing about Caleb's retreat into solitude. "You've completely lost it, Caleb. No one came to your aid when Helen fell ill. No one came forward when your resources were depleted last summer. Why sacrifice everything for strangers?" Caleb lifted his gaze from the envelope he was meticulously addressing. "Those who donned the uniform will never be left behind. Not then. Not now." "That was conflict," Frank argued. "This is the essence of existence." "Sometimes it's the same thing," Caleb responded softly, pressing the envelope closed with a steady grip of his worn hand. "If you think that a remarkable individual should be honored, remain with us." The following morning, Caleb discovered an official notice affixed to his front door. The bank was commencing foreclosure actions as a result of 3 months of unpaid mortgage payments. He was given a 30-day ultimatum to settle the account or leave the premises. The timing was deliberate. In small towns, news spread quickly, and his decision to withdraw prompted the bank to reassess his account right away, bypassing their standard warning protocols. At the feed store where he had ventured to purchase chicken feed on credit until his next Social Security check came in, the owner shook his head with a sense of regret. "My apologies, Caleb. We're streamlining our accounts. Currently, we are accepting cash only." The man averted his gaze from Caleb. "Perhaps consider exploring the county assistance program." As Caleb strolled back to his truck without any spoils, Dwayne Mercer shouted from across the street, "My proposal remains open, Dawson. You're welcome to stay in the guest house too. Giving for the sake of giving, isn't that so?" His companions chuckled with delight at the witty remark. That afternoon, Caleb made his way to the local Veterans Affairs office, curious about the possibility of emergency assistance programs they might offer. The atmosphere was packed, lacking sufficient help and profoundly disheartening. After a prolonged 2-hour wait, a visibly frazzled caseworker finally summoned him by name. "Mr. Dawson, I've gone over your file," she remarked, casting a quick look at her computer screen. "Regrettably, you do not meet the criteria for emergency housing assistance. The value of your property surpasses the limit, despite the existing mortgage." Caleb clarified that he wasn't in search of housing, sufficient to sustain the animals until the following month. The woman let out a gentle sigh, her features relaxing just a bit. Honestly, behind the scenes, the system favors those who receive media attention, the individuals whose narratives capture widespread interest. A Korean War veteran who remains absent from the realm of social media? It may seem unjust, yet that's the way resources are distributed in the current landscape, Caleb acknowledged with a nod. He had never possessed a computer and felt no inclination towards the internet. His realm was concrete, filled with earth and creatures, climate and labor. That evening, he consumed his final can of beans alongside a piece of stale bread. Seated at his modest kitchen table, he penned a letter to his son, articulating his choices without seeking assistance. In conclusion, he emphasized that everyone deserves to be surrounded by support and belief, ensuring that no one faces their final moments in solitude. He failed to bring up the foreclosure notice. As the clock inched toward midnight, Caleb was taken aback by a gentle rap on his door. Hardly any visitors arrived at any time, especially not this late. With a sense of trepidation, he opened the door to reveal a woman shrouded in shadows, appearing to be in her mid-30s. Her stance exuded the readiness of military training, despite her civilian attire. "Mr. Dawson, I must take my leave." She slipped an envelope into his palm. "We may not be able to share this with the world just yet, but it's important for you to realize that you're not facing this by yourself." Before he could utter a word, she vanished into the shadows, the faint echo of a car engine igniting and then swiftly receding. Within the envelope lay a straightforward note. "Your actions for Alicia Monroe have not gone unnoticed. Please hold on." The document bore no signature, was typed on unadorned paper, and lacked any letterhead or distinguishing features. Caleb set the enigmatic note down on his kitchen table, pondering its meaning with a sense of intrigue. Years of experience had instilled in him a caution against false hope, yet there was an undeniable quality to the woman's demeanor that felt official and purposeful. He tossed and turned throughout the night, contemplating whether he had committed a grave error or made the wisest choice of his existence. Regardless, the ranch he had devoted years to nurturing would probably find itself in the hands of a new owner by the end of the month. Type unfair if you've ever witnessed someone doing the right thing face such a consequence. The initial soft glow of dawn began to caress the roof of the weathered barn as Caleb caught the sound of vehicles drawing near. Not the usual clatter of agricultural vehicles, but the sleek, robust purr of finely tuned machinery. He emerged onto his porch, coffee mug cradled in his hand, and observed as 11 identical black SUVs, unmistakably government vehicles, yet devoid of license plates, glided into his lengthy dirt driveway, aligning in flawless formation. In that fleeting instant, silence reigned supreme. In perfect harmony, the driver's door of each vehicle swung open. Individuals clad in various military attire, Army, Navy, Marines, Air Force, emerged and arranged themselves in a line. A tall man with silver hair stepped out from the lead vehicle, adorned with the insignia of a major general. He walked up to Caleb, delivering a sharp salute that felt oddly formal for an elderly rancher, dressed in tattered jeans and a weathered work shirt. "Greetings, Mr. Caleb Dawson. I am Major General James Marvin from the Department of Defense Special Operations Division. We would like to express our heartfelt gratitude for your recent actions on behalf of the United States military." Caleb responded to the salute instinctively, years of training ingrained in his very being. "I don't quite grasp it, General. What is this regarding?" "The Monroe family, esteemed sir." The general maintained a formal demeanor. What you perceived as mere charity was, in reality, a vital intervention in a matter of national security. A woman dressed in civilian clothes approached from another vehicle, holding a leather portfolio. "Staff Sergeant Jeff Monroe," she elaborated, as she opened the folder to disclose documents stamped with security classifications, "was not just an ordinary Marine. He played a crucial role in Operation Baltic Shield, a counterintelligence initiative aimed at dismantling extremist networks with global ties. Following his terminal diagnosis, Sergeant Monroe delivered vital testimony that played a key role in dismantling 3 terrorist financing networks. Since that time, his family has been safeguarded by the Witness Security Program." Caleb remained silent, grappling with the weight of this revelation. He believed he was just lending a hand to the widow of a fellow veteran. General Marvin continued, stating that your financial assistance spared Mrs. Monroe from the need to interact with local charity organizations, which could have left a digital footprint and possibly jeopardized their protected status. You effectively upheld their facade at a pivotal moment. "I had no idea about any of that," Caleb admitted candidly. "I just encountered someone in need of assistance." "Your actions are truly remarkable, Mr. Dawson." The general's voice took on a gentler tone. "You acted solely on your convictions, without any anticipation of acknowledgement or gain." Another officer advanced, holding a petite wooden box. "I have been granted the privilege to present you with the Civilian Distinguished Service Medal, the highest accolade we bestow upon a non-military individual. It is seldom granted and never taken lightly." The officer lifted the lid of the box, unveiling a medal adorned with a blue ribbon. Caleb gazed at it, feeling a rush of emotions as they affixed it to his tattered shirt. General Marvin presented him with an official document adorned with gold embossing and a multitude of signatures. "Furthermore, I would like to inform you that the mortgage on your property has been fully settled." "How can that be?" Caleb inquired. "Your ranch has been recognized by the Service Members Civil Relief Foundation as a heritage property of military significance. Your debt has been purchased and retired by the foundation in the interest of the nation." By mid-morning, military engineers and construction specialists were evaluating the site. A group of Marines was already at work fixing the drooping barn roof, while personnel from the Army Corps of Engineers assessed the well system and the property fencing. A young lieutenant clarified as Caleb observed their efforts, "We're not here to alter anything, merely to safeguard what you've created and guarantee its ongoing functionality." Commands from the general, from the main road, intrigued onlookers, had assembled, observing the parade of military vehicles and personnel with wide-eyed wonder. Dwayne Mercer stood among them, his previous derision giving way to a profound stillness. The bank manager who had initiated the foreclosure arrived, visibly uneasy as he approached. He was intercepted and led aside for a conversation that left him looking pale and nodding repeatedly. As the afternoon wore on, news vans started to show up, yet military police ensured they remained at the property line. The only statement given was that Mr. Dawson's privacy will be respected. As dusk settled in, General Marvin discovered Caleb on his porch, engulfed by the weight of the day's happenings. Marvin leaned in closer, a hint of intrigue in his voice. "There's one more thing you should know," he said, settling beside him. "Alicia Monroe has received your check, but she has not cashed it yet. She reached out to us right away." He presented Caleb with an envelope, which contained his original check and a handwritten note. "Your generosity rescued us in our time of need, yet someone as noble as you should not have to sacrifice their own home while ensuring ours remains. Safe? With heartfelt appreciation, Alicia, Emma, and Michael Monroe. Have you ever chosen the path less traveled when others turned their backs? Your narrative holds significance as well." 1 month later, Caleb's ranch had undergone a remarkable transformation. The structure rose tall and sturdy, newly adorned in the familiar hues he had always favored. Fresh fencing surrounded the pastures, where a small herd of cattle, presents from different military units, grazed peacefully. The effort was executed with an admirable reverence for the history of the property. Nothing extravagant or contemporary, just meticulous repairs that respected the ranch's century-old legacy. Even the creaky front porch swing had been meticulously restored instead of being replaced. Every morning, Caleb continued to wake up before the sun and brewed his coffee in the same worn pot. He would settle into his porch chair, gazing at the sun as it ascended over the land that had been cherished by his family for generations. The land would now be his to keep for the rest of his life. A fresh flagpole rose proudly by the main gate, put in place by a dedicated Special Forces major who took it upon himself to mix and pour the concrete. Every morning, Caleb hoisted the American flag with the same meticulous attention he had demonstrated during his years of service long ago. From time to time, unmarked vehicles would pass by at a leisurely pace, serving as a subtle reminder that his seemingly small gesture of goodwill had created waves in realms of national security he had never envisioned. Every 2 weeks, a military chaplain would find himself in the vicinity, bringing along groceries and updates from the outside world. On a Saturday morning, a young boy wandered over to the fence line, where Caleb was busy fixing a loose wire. He presented Caleb with a crafted card featuring a child's illustration of a farm. The boy stated that his mother asked him to pass this along to you. She mentioned that you are the first individual who allowed my father to find true peace. Caleb spotted Alicia Munro observing him from afar, her posture attentive, yet her face serene. With a solitary, respectful nod, she guided her son back toward their patiently waiting car. Some individuals grow older in the shadows of obscurity, yet their deeds resonate like faint trumpets through the lives they unknowingly influenced. Some gifts, unrecognized and unasked for, bring with them a subtle confidence that what is just will ultimately come to light. Have you ever offered assistance to someone when no one else was aware? Tell your tale, for gentle acts of kindness merit acknowledgement as well. Join us for more amazing tales ensuring that what is just never fades into silence. You